just before you watch the video, I just wanted to say that I've already recorded the video, but sorry it's so long. Like, I got so passionate and I was just so happy to actually talk about ZZZ. So sorry I turned a very small video into a giant, massive thing, but I was having a great time listening to this person's perspective, and yeah, I realized the video is like ridiculously long. So if you managed to watch any of it or stay to the end, thank you so much. And yeah, anyway, on to the video. Sorry, bye. Ladies and or gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Xeno, and you guys know I don't tend to do discussion and react content very often, but I would really like to get into it a little bit more, especially as I'm dipping my toes into ZZZ videos as well. But I watch a lot of YouTube videos just in the background while I'm grinding away on all my different gacha games and stuff like that. And this video popped up, and I watched the first couple of minutes, and I'm like, you know what? I kind of wouldn't mind actually reacting to this and building off it and having some more discussion. So I don't know this creator. I don't know the full video, but it is what Zenless Zone Zero does better than the competition. It's got a lot of comments. It's got amazing views for a channel of this size, which is very similar to a channel of my size. We're about the same size nearly. A great like to dislike ratio. And as you guys know, I am so biased and hyped towards ZZZ. Like, I discussed this in my 400 days video prior, like a few days ago. It is still it's my favorite gacha game. I genuinely am just so in love with it. I know not everyone shares that same opinion, but if there's other people out there like this person who creates positive, great commentary or content, I would like to share it and just have my opinion with it. So if you're interested, stick around. Otherwise, I'll leave a link in the description down below so you can watch the video by yourself if you don't want to hear me yap over it. And yeah, I watched the first minute or two of this video and I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to like this video. I think I'm going to like this video. That, and I have no energy to do anything else today. It's been such a stressful day after work. I don't have anything. I don't have any energy to do anything else today. So we'll make this into a video. So it's 12 minutes and 17 seconds long, and it looks like it goes over world building and characters, combat, progression, and there's some miscellaneous things and closing thoughts. So let's see what they have to say, because I want to share more positivity when it comes to ZZZ. So I'm all for it. So
they ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
What Zenless Zone Zero does better than
I think it's safe to say at this point that of the gacha games among the big four, Zenless Zone Zero is my favorite of the bunch. However, I've never really taken the opportunity to expand on why, other than the occasional backhanded comment against open world gacha games, or my enjoyment of a character or two within the ZZZ world. So
that's also something I've never done, is actually expanded upon in a proper video, like why I love Zenless Zero so much and why it's actually my favorite gacha, compared to the fact that Wuthering Waves is my second favorite, and which is like what I cover on the channel 95% of the time at the moment, which will change as I'm getting more into Zenless and other stuff. But I've never made a video and it's like, okay, but why is it my favorite gacha? Like, I've given off hints here and there. I did say at the end of my 400 days video that there was a few reasons why I preferred ZZZ, just as like, because it just fits me better personally. But as it's like the least popular Hoyo game, I know it's not for everyone. So I'm curious to know why it's his favorite and what he presents, because I'm not good at making these types of videos. So let's pretend this is mine.
Today, I want to take this opportunity to express my love for this game and why that is, from its world, its gameplay, and down to its smaller aspects that help to make it a gacha game that I enjoy.
I actually missed the Yanagi trailers back in the day as well.
The world of ZZZ, right from the start, has established itself as this almost cartoon-like fantasy world that has no problems with flipping the switch and presenting a dark narrative under the surface. A character like Bernice can exist in the game with her happy-go-lucky, intoxicating behavior, while at the same time someone like Hugo and his struggles with personal freedom and his haunting past can exist as well.
It's so funny, because like Bernice is just like, she's like secretly a psychopath. She's like such a positivity, like just thriving person. And it's just like, I'm sure there's probably some underlying that sad backstory to Bernice we just probably haven't like seen or figured all out completely yet, but like she's such a positive person. Like she makes the Sons of Caledon absolutely sing. And then you've got people like Hugo and Vivian, but Hugo especially, and it's just like, oh my god, like you were just, your whole past is so traumatic and so sad, and it's just like, he actually reminds me of Frolova a little bit in Wuwa, where it's just like he has kind of the same, where it's just like, I can understand where you're coming from and why you do some of these morally gray and potentially bad things, and because like all the crap you've been through and how you're like kind of evil but you're kind of good. So but it's fun how they can all just coexist at the same time, and all the other different characters and stuff. So anyway,
it's frankly an insane world filled with the quirkiest characters you could find.
It absolutely
yet it's all
is.
taken seriously by its characters, and by extension, the player is able to take it all seriously as well.
Very
as for
much
the characters
so, yes.
themselves, the ZZZ team made the right call in creating each playable character as part of a major or minor faction in the game's world, paired with several other playable characters, ensuring that major story content involving a single character will in most cases include several additional characters for them to build off of one another, flesh their personalities out, and create more interesting story dynamics.
That's something I actually touched on in my 400 days video at the very end of that very long video, was the fact that I didn't touch on the faction part, but I touched on the idea that it's just like, because the world is so believable and the characters is like a I don't remember the word, continuity, I don't know, but it's like it keeps going around, where it's just like all the characters keep coming back. And it's just like, for example, like in 2.0, like you're restoring the temple, Swabian Temple or whatever it's called, right? And it's just like Belobog Construction Industries. Anton shows up with his bros, and it's just like, you might not see all of Belobog, but it's just like Anton shows up, and because it's like he's part of the world, like he's doing his normal job, right? And it's just like, it's nice to have like all the characters continuously come back. And it just makes it so much nicer because they're all part of these little factions and little pockets in New Eridu and all over the little world that they've created. And I fucking love that. Like, it's because like, so if I'm going to see Nicole, for example, on the screen now, it's like if I see Billy or I see Nicole, I'm probably going to also see Ambi. I might also see Nekomata. And it's just like, there's a good chance you get to see some of your favorites continuously. And I love that. Like, it doesn't always happen, but I think that's just a really big plus, that every character belongs to like little small factions. And so there's a big chance that if you see like the summer event that's currently going on as of recording, like that Grace pops in and then like Lucy pops in. And then it's just like, I know it might be minor, but I love that. Like, I really do. Like, that's a big part of the reason I love this game.
This is further enhanced through the implementation of the Hangout system, a small collection of activities the player can partake in with a character of their choice that allows them to bond over several Hangout events to raise a relationship meter, unlocking unique scenes for said character.
Yeah, Soldier 11 is my girl.
This allows for a more organic buildup of a relationship between the player and the character that's kept to the side, as to not be shoehorned into the main story, while also at the same time not being an afterthought of a handful of voice text boxes buried away in a character archive.
Yeah. That's one thing I really do appreciate about the companion quests, is that it's also like side content. You don't have to interact with it. But if you want to build that deeper relationship with all the agents in the world and see all the different dynamics that Bell and Wise and those specific agents have with other agents as well, because they sometimes all meet each other, it's really nice. And because you actually wander, and now, especially now in 2.0 onwards, because they've changed a lot of it, you actually physically wander around the areas with the characters. Like, I love that, like, quote unquote, like Persona dates. That's why I like it. It's like a slice of life, like Persona style thing. I think it's fantastic, and it's optional. So if you don't want to engage in it, you don't have to, but it adds so much more depth to a lot of the characters. And it allows you to spend time with your absolute favorite characters if you want to do so. I absolutely love it.
I appreciate the protagonists, Bell and Wise, for being their own characters in the world of ZZZ.
Absolutely,
bucking
yes.
the trend of the silent protagonist approach that we've grown all too accustomed to in other gacha games.
I don't mind silent protagonists sometimes, but I will admit now, as I'm getting a little bit older, I want developers to tell me a story. I like for example, like the Bethesda games. Let's take the Bethesda games, right? I love my Fallout series. I love my, Oblivion, Skyrim, all that. Like, I like those games, but you pretty much are just a blank slate, because the idea is you put yourself into those shoes and you go off and you do whatever. A lot of the gacha games we play, like the Traveler from Genshin's, a pretty blank slate for the most part. They don't have too much personality. They've gotten more personality, but like, fuck me, dude. We're like 5-6 years into the game. Of course, they're going to have some personality kind of by now. Rover from Withering Waves is definitely having a personality emerge, especially as we learn more about their past in that game as well, which I think is fantastic. Like, I want them to be their own character, even though you can still choose dialogue options, and you can do that with Bell and Wise as well in ZZZ. But I love ZZZ's main characters, like Bell and by extension Wise are my favorite MCs from Gacha at the moment, because they are both very distinct. They are both different. They both have different likes, dislikes, different reactions, different ways that they interact with the agents, the story scenes, the main story, side stories. They both have a very set personality, and I just find that so much more interesting. Like, I love that.
The last thing I want to talk about with this section is, of course, the character designs.
Yes.
There is a wide array of aesthetics for
I'm
characters
a sucker
with
for
a
the
great
character
level of variety,
designs in
thanks
this
to
game.
ZZZ's
If you saw my
everything in
Alice
the
video,
kitchen
you
sink
already know.
approach to designs. Aside from your typical humanoid characters, there's also bipedal animals, animal-human hybrids, automatons, and even humanoid characters with physical features based on depictions of popular folklore from European and Asian varieties. These combinations of racial designs are given further creativity through the aforementioned factions in the game world and how they're based on common real-life occupations and personal identities. You've got street hustlers, construction workers, police officers, butlers and maid services, the military, government agents, biker gangs, famous musicians, high-class society members, temple monks, and even Redditors.
User being a Redditor. That's actually funny. Yeah, I can so see User being a fucking Redditor and just stirring up trouble online on Reddit. She 100% has like Reddit and Twitter alt accounts. Yeah, I really like the just complete diversity that ZZZ brings. Like, it's to me, it's second to none. Like, Genshin has a little bit of that with some of their characters. Like, some of them like, for example, like, I don't know, like Kirara or whatever it is, like the cat girl. She's like a whatever she is from Inazuma, you know. Like, they have some where it's just like a little bit of both here and there, but like a ZZZ has so many, and they make it so believable as well. Like, I love that. I love the fact that like it all just makes sense in the world. Like, it's so believable. Like, that over there's a cat girl, and there's a tiger person, there's a wolf guy, there's a shark, there's a fucking robot. Like, you know, and it's just like I love that, because it means like that means that the world is their oyster when it comes to creating new characters, new designs, new combat mechanics, and like all kinds of flashy animations, because it's not pretty much like 90% human-based. They could do anything. I mean, as of recording, like, Seed is the next character coming out after Alice, and she's like a petite girl with a foot fetish, but like, she's also in a giant mech, so now we have a giant mech in battle, not just an automaton like Billy. I think that's awesome.
This level of detail and care put into character designs even extends to a great number of NPCs in the game world.
We're 30 minutes into this video, and we're 3 minutes into this.
Zero
oh god!
Are given a greater sense of identity thanks to their unique design
Effie's
that helps to
fantastic.
set them apart and helps to settle the player into the fantastical setting of the game's world. Need I say any more?
I mean, like, the amount of fanfic of Sweetie is ridiculous. She is so obscenely hot for no reason as an NPC. Just for no reason. I would love it if she was like a 4-star. People would go wild. That's one thing I noticed very early on with ZZZ, actually, was that roaming around the world of New Eridu and 6th Street and like Lumina Square and other places is just the absolute range of NPCs. There's so many different looking NPCs constantly in the world, and like with Genshin and Wuwa and a couple other games that have a bigger open world design, they have to double up and triple up on the same styles of NPCs with very little clothing. But when a game like ZZZ, where it's more instant based, like it's all like cities and stuff, you can have a lot more different designs because there's not as many and the place isn't as big.
As a game world,
love it.
ZZZ's interpretation of a modern-day setting with elements of futuristic technology gives it a massive edge in identity.
Another big reason
among
I
the
like
medieval fantasy
ZZZ.
and science fiction settings we see an abundance of in gacha game
I
settings.
like it because it's
while at the
somehow
same
made a
time,
modern. It's somehow made like a modern setting, a semi, like, you know, quote unquote fantasy, but modern setting that has normal jobs and normal things that are going on with all these fantastic, crazy things as well. But it's somehow made it work. Like, I don't know. I just find that so special.
leveraging said fantastical elements in the designs of its characters, all while treating everything like it belongs in this world.
Yeah, I love it. Yes,
Moving
the combat.
on from the world of ZZZ, I've got to talk about
Alan,
the combat system.
I like this guy already.
Right off the bat, the visual
Does
and
he have
sound design
M1
of
or
this
M2?
game does a lot to carry a visual
Hey, he's got
spectacle
M1 at
that
least.
sets it apart from the rest
Hell
of the gacha
yeah,
games.
brother.
The hard clang of metal, coupled with the close-up crooked camera angle from a defensive
It's
assist
so
to
satisfying.
emphasize the weight of a parry, following up with a counterattack, the slowed down and sped up series of blows
Yeah.
during a chain attack,
It's so satisfying.
and the sudden but cinematic wipeout screen to close.
The wipeout screens, like, it's such a simple thing to add like a finale when you finish off a stage, a boss, like whatever pose your characters on the screen are, they're going to have this wipeout appear in the background. So freaking cool. I am like 99% positive. I feel like this is pretty obvious, but I'm 99% positive that each character's animations also take into the account that if they kill an enemy with that animation, it'll make a good wipeout screen. Because like 95% of the characters, all their animations and skills and the way they twirl, their butts are in the air, upskirt shots, cool poses, it's all because, like, just in case you happen to kill the enemy just then, you'll still get a pretty cool wipeout pose. Like the way Ishwan moves around the battlefield, like everything she does, it's like, and same with Yanagi right here. Like, there is no reason that when Yanagi uses her skill and she holds like her Nagitan or whatever it is behind her back, like that doesn't make any sense, but it looks fucking awesome. And so when it pops off at a wipeout screen,
all these and the many animations and
looks
sound
sick.
effects of each agent's moveset come together to create a combat system that can't be beat when it comes to its sights and sounds. It's not just the visuals, though,
It's
as
so
Zenless
good.
Zone Zero
I'm
offers a greater
obsessed
degree of player
with the
flexibility
combat.
and skill expression when compared to most other gacha games. ZZZ is not meant to be played with a traditional skill rotation that many competitors follow. Its combat is meant to be more situational and puts more focus on your reflexes and resource management.
that's a big reason that I touched on in my 400-day video. That's a big reason why I enjoy the combat, especially for ZZZ, is because it's resource-based. So, like, with Genshin and with Wuwa, for example, it is rotational-based. So it's just like, let's take Genshin. I have a C2R1 Skirk because I got stupid lucky. Surprise, surprise. Thank God I don't record my Genshin summons. But it's just like, all right, Farina, burst skill. Oh, sorry, skill burst. And then it's like, all right, Effie, skill burst. Sitlali, skill burst. Skirk, burst, attack, 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 rotate. Farina, skill burst. Effie, skill burst. Sitlali's, it's a rotation. There's no, like, if something happens on the battlefield, you don't react much to it because you only have a small selection of buffs and a very short timer. And they don't last very long, so you have to just keep rotating. And if something messes up, you pretty much just kind of have to start again, like most of the time. Wuwa is pretty much the same to an extent, although some of the buffs can last a lot longer, but not all of them. Some of the outro buffs don't last that long, 14 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, etc. And so it pretty much becomes a rotation. So it's just like, I like that, don't get me wrong, but there's something very specific about ZZZ's resource management where it's just like, I can blow my load. I can blow like my load of resources whenever I want to, at any stage of the fight when I build it up. Like, I can use my skills, my ultimate, I can use whatever other special unique mechanic each character has. And it's reaction based. It's a skill based game. You can mash your way through it. Don't get me wrong. You can 100% mash your way through it once you have a dedicated like account built up. But for the most part, like, to get really high scores, and fast clear times on Shiyu defense. Shiyu defense doesn't matter as much, but Deadly Assault especially, and even Battle Tower where everything one-shots you, you need some skill. And I think it's the most skill-based out of the gachas that I personally play. I think it's the flashiest, and I think has the best animations. I don't obviously play every gacha, but...
That's not to say you can't play in a very paint-by-numbers manner, but you limit
As
the
he says
potential
it,
of your
yeah.
performance in doing
Yeah.
so in ZZZ. As a player, your primary focus should be playing around the movesets of your opponent. Only then can you follow up with what your own team can do in response.
Like, learning the boss's patterns is a massive, massive thing. Like, the difference between mashing your way through and just, like, dodging here and there and actually learning the mechanics to increase your score tenfold, it's a huge difference. It's night and day. Like, actually learning what the bosses do and how to get them out of certain, like, special states that they're in, and then maximizing your actual team comp and how they work. Like, I don't know, as someone who really... I like action games, but I don't play them that often anymore. Like, this game scratches an action game itch for me. Absolutely.
To close out the combat section, there's also a great number of enemy variety in ZZZ, many of whom have variations of themselves to turn up the heat
there's a lot
or
of
spice
different
up their
bosses, a
moves.
lot of different
An
enemies.
enemy like the Terror Raptor must be handled differently from the Palsius,
Yeah.
which is different from the specialized Assault.
Most of the games do have a lot of enemies that do need to be handled differently. But when you get to a certain power level, I mean, this still applies to ZZZ too. But when you get to a certain power level in games of like Genshin, even HSI, even though it's turn-based, Weathering Waves, you kind of can just blitz through and it doesn't matter. ZZZ you can to a degree. You definitely can if you have like super high invested, vertically invested teams. But like each enemy's really different, like in how they attack. And I love that. Like, it keeps me on my toes. Like, keeps me remembering constantly, like, which enemy does freaking what.
Bomber, which is
a lot of people don't
different
like
from
that,
the
but
Sacrifice
I do.
Heretic
So.
Jester, which is different from Doppelganger Hugo, which is different from the many other bosses to fight in the game. Between the
I still
visual
reckon we could
spectacle,
use some more
the
enemies,
lax
which
way
we are
players can
getting
play their
more.
teams, and the
But,
enemy variety,
I do
can
really
say that
like the
I find
variety.
Zenless Zone Zero's combat to be the most engaging and visually appealing out of the modern gacha games.
Yeah, it's definitely the most engaging for me, and visually appealing, it's like second to none. Weathering Waves is extremely close if you like that art style over Zenless's art style, but like, I love this art style personally more, and it's so visually appealing. Sometimes it gets a little too crazy, like in my Alice video with Miyabi and Alice. Holy crap, like there's so much stuff going on all over the screen that it gets a bit cluttered, something they still need to work on, but the game is still in the early stages. It's only just over a year old, but like, it's so good to me.
Next up, we have progression systems.
Progression,
of the big four,
interesting. Okay,
Zenless
I'm
Zone
curious to know
Zero
what he does
has
here.
the most flexibility and adjustable stamina consumption from resource acquisition activities, starting at 20 stamina and can be incrementally increased by 20 until you reach a cap of 100. This helps for
that's something I wish the other games did. Like, if I've only got 20 stamina left, 40 stamina left, or battery, whatever, all right, I can go farm the material I need, but just 20 stamina worth, 40 stamina worth. If I've got max stamina, 100 stamina worth. And in basically 2 or 3 runs, I've emptied my 200, 300 stamina. You can't do this in any of the other gachas that I play. Not Genshin, not Star Rail, not Wuthering Waves. Like, they've got very fixed set amounts. This is so much more player friendly. So it's just like, hey, I only need a couple of this material. Let me just run 40 stamina, and then I'll use another 40 to 60 stamina on the other thing I need. Now, this game still suffers from the fact that there's a lot to farm, and I reckon they could definitely increase the amount we get in terms of like how much per run. But I will admit, none of the other games that I play have this, and it's such a blessing.
For players to finally manage their resources to get what they need without too much overflow when compared to the other games.
Yeah, it's
While on
so
the
much
topic
better.
of stamina flexibility, players are given 3 free attempts for weekly boss materials
This
from
is fairly
Notorious
normal.
Hunt, as
Well,
well as an additional 4
mostly.
boss drops purchasable from the Outpost Logistics every month.
This is big. Like, Genshin struggles so much. The fact that you can only face world bosses once per week. You can't even face them 3 times. It's fucking once. And there is no other item in the game. I mean, okay, you can actually in the transform table thing. You can actually turn some of the other materials into the boss materials you need. But if you don't have any, you still don't have any. But like this game gives you 3 for free, and then you can actually switch on there's an option, and then you can just farm the boss that you need using stamina as much as you want to actually not have to wait 3-4 weeks per character.
If that's not enough for you, there's always the option to spend stamina to attempt bosses as many times as you want without a weekly limit.
Yeah.
When compared to the big 4, ZZZ is the most generous with the ability to farm bosses for critical ascension materials.
Absolutely,
for
yes.
As for the positives of the stamina system itself, players are given 80 additional stamina a day through the coffee shop.
That it's pretty big, but the thing is, like I just mentioned, like we get extra stamina per day. And we also have overflow stamina, but which like Honkai Star Rail has, for example, Withering Waves has, Genshin doesn't have. Oh my god! But like as I was just saying, we need so many resources to max out characters that it's ridiculous. Sometimes it takes weeks if you're running really low on Denny's, you're running really low on Ascension materials, the element materials that you need for skills, for core passives.
Effectively giving players
it's great,
hour stamina total of
it's because we need so much that giving us extra, it's like it's good, but
stamina system
it's still a
caps
problem.
Out at 2,400, 10 days worth of stamina to consume. This is on par with Honkai Star Rail's stamina system, 5 times more than Withering Waves that has a 480 waveplate crystals storage, and Genshin Impact that has absolutely nothing. Wrapping up gear progression, I want to talk about free W engine options and drive discs.
So annoying.
ZZZ has the most accessible free options for weapons, with resources dropping consistently from the free boss attempts every week.
Yeah.
It's the easiest of the big 4 to accumulate craftable weapon options.
Yeah.
As for drive discs, there are plenty of opportunities to gather discs in ZZZ thanks to free attempts from weekly completions of
that's
Hollow
relatively
Zero,
new as well. We now get
Hi-Fi
free
Master
attempts.
copies from the free weekly boss fight.
Yeah, no, that's big, actually. Being able to go to Effie's music store in 6th Street and use spare materials and just craft, like, literally 100 of the disk drive set that you want. It's random, but you actually pinpoint the 6 slots that you want, and it costs like the extra special one. But like, I did that in my Alice video. I didn't showcase it, I actually edited that part out. But I sat there for 5 minutes and just spent like 200, 300 of the resource and just crafted like an extra 100 relic disk drives. Like that, basically 100 artifacts, 100 relics. Like that's insane. Like, again, you need a lot of materials to level up the things. But I think this game is better than the others
for disc building itself,
when it comes to actually
no substat variants when leveling drive discs.
This is huge. Oh my god, this is huge. I'm sorry I'm talking so much. Like, I'm excited to talk about ZZZ. I'm sorry. This is fucking huge. Like, Withering Waves, one of the biggest problems in Withering Waves is the fact that, I've got 3% crit rate? Or maybe I've got 10% crit rate. Maybe I've got 7 today. Maybe tomorrow I've got 8. And it's like crit damage. I've got 13% crit damage. Or I've got 18% crit damage. He's got 21% crit damage. It's like, what is happening? Like, it's got way too many variations of the rolls. I love the fact that even though this system, it still sucks farming for gear. But at least this is like, you get crit rate, it's crit rate. It's 2.4% crit rate each time. That's it. You get crit damage, it's 4.8% each time. That's it. Like, it's set. You know exactly. If you roll it, you know exactly what you are going to roll. Thank God. Genshin has this problem, although the stats are slightly, the variation isn't as big as something like Withering Waves. Honkai Star Rail's variation, I don't think as big. It's kind of similar to Genshin's. But this is huge.
A minimum guarantee of value when leveling stats on your drive discs.
It still sucks to farm.
Helps to alleviate a layer of RNG
it does help.
The other games suffer from, where
Withering
even if
Waves has
players
got to
rolled
sort
the
that
substat
shit
they
out,
want,
man.
they could still be screwed over by low stat rolls. Crafting discs themselves is
Yeah,
also
this
incredibly
is what I was talking
customizable,
about.
thanks to the ability to
This
pick
is
disc
huge.
sets, as well as the ability to craft in singles or bulks of 10, as well as the fact that you can craft randomly for pieces 1 through 6 in a set, or spend double the resources to craft for a specific disc number.
I feel like people
ZZZ's
don't
main
utilize
stat
this
selector
enough.
resource, the
This
tuning
is really
calibrator,
big for
is
making
also
disc
given out to
drives.
players the most through event content
Mm-hmm.
than the other selector items among the big 4.
Yeah, no, Genshin and Star Rails is okay. It's gotten better. Genshin's getting better too. But Genshin, I personally find just like, it just does not give you enough of like the elixir or feathers or whatever it is. Withering Waves, I can't think of the top of my head what it has actually. Honkai Star Rail's gotten better. You can use little things to make more pieces. And you can transform relics into the materials needed to make more. So,
Put
but
this all together,
ZZZ is really good
has
with
a great
this.
collection of additions and features in its progression
It
that helps,
it helps the
alleviate
shitty
common
system
pain
be
points
less shitty.
Players might
Still
find
a shitty
in
system,
other gacha
but
games.
it's less shitty.
Here's some additional things that I couldn't consolidate into a specific category.
Okay.
The endgame content options of Deadly Assault and the Battle Tower offers a greater variety of gameplay when compared to the competition, with the Battle Tower
Yep.
in particular offering a permanent mode and a time-limited mode that
Yep.
gets overhauled throughout the year to offer more up-to-date content offerings to
Yep.
spice things up.
I personally am not a fan of Genshin's endgame. I'm just not. I don't mind Abyss. It's okay. It's not the greatest fun just because the backdrop's the same for like 6 years. Like, come on, at least just change the backdrop and the music, and it would honestly help a lot. I do not like Imaginary Theater. I've been on record saying I fucking hate that game mode. It's just dumb. And the new mode, Stygian, whatever it is, I don't like that either. It's just a big boss with inflated HP. It's okay. It depends on what bosses you face. Honkai Star Rails, it's got 3 different game modes. It's all right, pure fiction. You got the AoE. You got Memory of Chaos, which is your standard, like sheer defense Abyss, and then you've got the other one, Apocalyptic Shadow, which is more of just like it's kind of just like Memory of Chaos, to be honest, but it's even stricter, or it feels stricter. Withering Waves, it's okay. The hologram bosses are good, but once you beat them once, I don't feel like I ever really want to go back and beat them again. Like, I don't really feel that itch. And the Tower of Adversity and Whimpering Ways, they're fine. They're serviceable. And their roguelike mode isn't
I
very
recently
good.
posted a video voicing my dissatisfaction with roguelike modes in gacha games.
I actually like
roguelike
roguelike modes
credit is due,
when they're
and
done
Hollow
well.
Zero, in its more recent iterations, has greatly improved.
Yeah, I really enjoy
offering more
Hollow
options
Zero.
for gameplay.
I love
through
Deadly
investigation
Assault.
strategies,
Sheer
new character
defense is
gear,
too easy
and
for
the
me,
ability to
so
trial
I don't really
certain
care.
characters weekly the player might not own.
Battle Tower's
the Bangaboo
amazing,
in the
though.
world
It's
of
really
ZZZ
fun.
make for great mascots with such a wide variety of designs and aesthetics.
Bro. I think ZZZ has, I've got an EOS. I think ZZZ has the best mascots. I really do. That when I've had this mascot, I've had EOS for a while. I even the other day, like literally like yesterday or something, I posted on Discord, I've got little Rocket Boo. It's like a little cheap bubble Rocket Boo. I think the Bang Boos from Zenless Zone Zero are like the best and cutest mascots in all of gacha game history. Like, there's nothing beats them. And they're so funny. They're so dumb. These stupid waddling bunny
And their
things.
animations in combat
And
are always a joy
they're
to see.
so
the
good.
character
I
tutorials
love-
are
I'm
much better than
obsessed
its
with them.
competition, which just throws a wall of text at you.
Fuck Paimon when I have EOS. Like, it's just not even comparable. Like, Abby from Wuwa's great, but it's no EOS.
And doesn't help players come to
Don't even talk about men from Star Rail. I will literally waterboard that thing.
grips with the character they're trialing. In ZZZ, you're given a video to contextualize the character's playstyle that is followed up with the player being tasked to
The
complete
fact
the
that
action
there
in
is
question.
literally like
For
a
most
training
characters,
mode
this
is
repeats
crazy.
one or
I would kill for a training mode in Genshin to be able to actually test rotations from teams. Withering Waves, same thing, to be able to actually test combos and rotations and see if things work. Do I need more ER on this character? How does this work? Does this flow well?
Or 2 additional times.
It's so
then
good.
You
It's
are
a
given
fighting
the chance
game.
to fight a handful of mobs
You've got a
to
lab.
play around
You can
with
literally
them.
go to the lab, like a
Godfinger
fighting
Arcade
game.
is honestly underappreciated, and I wish more people would give credit for the mini games on offer, as well as I'd hope for
Yeah,
more
I don't
games
play
to
the
be
mini
added
games as
in
often,
future
but
content
they're
updates.
fantastic.
The last thing
It's
I want
so
to bring
fun.
up is the differences in ZZZ's banner system, with the A-rank agents on rate-up being limited to 2 when compared to the competition, when there's usually 3 characters.
Well, yes. But at the same time, it's because the game's still fairly new, and there's not many A ranks in the game. So, like, if you're a veteran player and you've been playing since last year, especially, you've probably got the majority of the entire A rank class
on
maxed
radar,
out. I
which
have
tends
the
to make it
entire
harder
for over a
players
year.
to accumulate
Not over a
copies
year,
of
but,
specific characters,
which is great
I would
for me, I
also
guess,
like
'cause I
to
don't
call
really
attention
care.
to the pity counter, which is something none of
Pity counter's nice. Yeah, I'll admit that's a nice little small touch. The pity's still too high, and it sucks. Hoyo rates suck so bad. Even though I have good luck, they're terrible. But having a pity counter is nice to actually see. I don't have to go into the freaking
the other
history
Big
and keep
Four
looking.
do, as well as something for new players, where the beginner banner is merged with the standard banner. This helps new accounts to reach the selectable S-rank agent at 300 pulls a lot sooner than the competition,
Oh, okay.
thanks to the aforementioned 50
It's been
beginner
so
banner
long
pulls,
that I don't even know at
contributing
this
to the
point. I don't
standard
remember.
selectable counter. All these things come together to make Zenless Zone Zero the game that it is today. And what helps it to stand out among all the other gacha games it's competing with. It's energetic, it's chaotic, it's fun.
Oh,
There is
yeah.
passion to be found in ZZZ, and its development team has a track record of being willing to take feedback into account and making changes.
It's so... I've been on that high horse with the ZZZ devs. I reckon if they weren't under Hoyo, I reckon they'd be able to do... They obviously, like, it's a Hoyo game, but I reckon the devs themselves, they feel so completely different than the Genshin devs, than the Star Rail devs. The Wuwa devs, like from Kuro, are fantastic. Like, they're absolutely amazing. And I think ZZZ devs are the same caliber as, like, the Kuro devs. Like, they listen. They genuinely listen to the player base, and they implement so many changes and core concepts of the actual main game, and like they changed so much over the last year plus. It's amazing. Like this dev talk thing from 4 months ago, I remember watching that. I'm like, this is so good. Like,
Just to improve the game
these devs
within
are
the first
amazing.
year of its post-launch development, and with the
I love
quality
it.
of version 2.1
even though it's $1 billion company, it makes me feel like I've actually got a voice and I'm actually heard. Even though, let's be honest, not really. But it makes me feel like it.
I look forward to bigger and better updates to keep things going. And with
All right,
that,
let's see some
I've
closing
said
thoughts.
all I really wanted to about
And I've
what
said a
Zenless Zone
lot
Zero
more.
does better when compared to the other
I
gacha
somehow
games
tripled
it's
the length of
competing
this
with
video.
in the
I'm so
space.
sorry.
I'd also like to quickly give appreciation to the ZZZ community that does their best to bring everyone together. I've been
Yeah.
enjoying my time recently with other creators I share the space with, and look forward to working together to create a better community for a game we all
I
enjoy.
can tell he likes
But
Yanagi.
until
She was at the
then,
start of the
This
video
has been Arikado Zoden,
and the end.
and I'm clocking out.
That was a great video. I'm sorry that I managed to triple the length of that video by talking. I'm going to give that a like, and I'm going to give him a subscribe, and I'll check out some of his other content. But I don't know who this person was before this, but I just wanted a chance to also express my love for ZZZ, and so I don't know how many people actually made it to the end of this video, but this is a good video. And I agree with pretty much nearly all of the, actually most/all of the things that he mentioned of why he prefers it over other gachas. It's the same reasons why I prefer it over other gachas. Zenless has still got a lot of issues, or potential issues that I overlook because I have so much fun with the game. But like, I really think Zenless Zone Zero is very special. And I know not everyone shares that same opinion, and that's okay. But I love the game, and yeah, I don't know. Great video by Arikado. I'll leave a link in the description down below. If you somehow made it to the end of this video, go give it a like, go give it a comment, say that Xeno sent you, or just go, leave your thoughts on his video instead of mine. But yeah, no. Anyway, thanks for listening to me react and talk over this and turn this 12-minute video into a nearly 40-minute fucking discussion. I didn't realize I've been here for nearly 40 minutes. I wanted to share some ZZZ love, and here we are. So anyway, I'm gonna hit him up on Twitter and say that I reacted to his video just to let him know as well and to say thank you. And yeah, anyway, I'll leave the video there. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord and chat to the community there, become a member of the channel to support me directly, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. So thank you very much for watching and or listening to me yap. And as always, my name is Xeno, and you guys take care now.